Hey everybody, time for the Q&A answers. There was 301 comments on this video and only 275 likes, so thanks for remembering to like the video. Anyway, don't forget in this video we are going to be giving away a key tag. I was going to do this outside, apologies for just being in a boring room, but unfortunately the wind's kicked up and it's going to ruin audio, so. I have not looked at the comments once since I put that video up because I wanted them to be fresh as I read them, so I'm going straight from the top. I'm going to just go down a little bit and just pick questions out at random. Andy Clearly, will mixing Viagra in your forecoil give you a stiffer front end? Yes, it will. Definitely do that. Make sure you put at least 6 or 7 tablets per side. Obi Jim Kenobi, you have 20 minutes left until certain death. In front of you is a Panigale 1299 and Scarlett Johansson dripping in honey. Which do you spend your dying minutes with? The bike, obviously. I mean, actually think about that. She's dripping in honey. There's flies sticking to her, bits of gravel. I mean, let's face it, honey is not known for its lubrication properties. I think that wouldn't be the most enjoyable thing you could have, so no. I'd say give me the bike. Who is Scarlett Johansson again? Oh, her? She looks like a turtle. Dick stroke. Worst bike you've ever ridden? Oh, that's difficult. It would have to be a chicken chaser, you know, the old 50cc thing with the pedals. As much as we all loved them back then, messing around on fields and stuff, they were never what we thought they were going to be. And they were definitely not what we thought they were then. Pet 2143-2, would you rather be attacked by a dozen duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I think I've been asked this before, to be fair. Which is a strange thing to say, but I'd rather go with the small ones, because a giant duck will just dabble the shit out of you. Jamal Maharouf, if you had to get your first 125 today, as opposed to all those years ago, what would you go with? Same budget as when you got your first 125? Well, if I went the same budget as I got my first 125, that wouldn't really work, because it's not the same amount of money now. Basically, my first 125 cost me £1,400. My first Betty, my original Adrenaline. Personally, if I was buying a 125 again and it was my own money and I was on the budget, which was the same sort of budget I was then, it was the equivalent of, I'd go for the Lexmoto Adrenaline because it's a little bit more than £2,000 now. I'd get a 2016 Lexmoto Adrenaline before they had to do the Euro 4 changes, and then it would be cheaper. Sponge1310, in your opinion, would riding a motorcycle make the person more attractive to a potential partner? This is a really interesting one, actually. Okay, so if a guy rides a bike, and I'm going to go with straight relationships here, and I'm not assuming any genders, if a girl sees a guy on a bike, sometimes she'll like it, sometimes she won't. I know plenty of people who just think that guy must be a fucking idiot. If you want to see the most amount of men at any place, go to a supermoto meet. However, the other way around. Girl on a bike, pretty much most blokes will like that, even if they're not bikers. Because you have leathers, which are always good. You have bikes, which shows a type of interest outside of, ooh, flowers. And most importantly, they have self-confidence. To be self-confident enough to say, I ride a bike, that's a very attractive thing to blokes. So, there you go. Yes from one direction and no from the other. And it also does depend what... If you ride a Ducati around, it's like having a Ferrari. Girls are going to prefer that. You ride a supermoto around, as I say, and you're just going to get, well, you're going to get nothing. Dexter747, what do you recommend as the best way to deal with idiot drivers that almost kill you? The correct answer to that is to ignore them. Just keep away from them, stay calm. You're on a bike, this shit happens. Don't get in arguments with them because you're on a bike, they're in a car, they're going to win no matter what. I don't know how hard and tough you think you are, but a little old lady in a Micra can just go, oh, look at that cunt. Livid Xeon, what are your future plans now that YouTube's revenue is falling faster than my hopes in the UK government? And the motorcycle industry has about as much money as in a hooker's bra. A cheap hooker's bra. What do you see yourself doing career-wise? That is a really good question, dude. At the moment, I don't know. That's very deep. That right now is my #1 question in life. Just Full stop. I don't know what I'm going to do. YouTube has never made me enough money to be able to actually, you know, think about it being a career or a job, even really. Although I do see it as a job because I want it to progress, because I've put 6 years into this. But the most money it ever made me allowed me to take 1 extra day off a week. So I worked 4 days a week. What I'm currently doing is I'm going to companies that are bike related, and I'm just sort of saying, hey, this person, you may know of me, I've got plenty of skills, and I'm trying to get a job as a person rather as a YouTuber, but they do know I'm a YouTuber because it shows the skills I have and the commitment I have to a project, which, if you want to look at it from this point of view, doing YouTube, this project, this self-funded, self-motivated thing is not something a lot of people will keep doing, as long as I have. At the moment, I'm definitely at a fork in the road, and I have to decide where I go. I'm going to have to go into work, there is no question about that, it's just going to have to happen. What happens to YouTube after that, I don't know, it depends how much time I have. The more merch and stuff that I can sell, the more, I hate to say it, people help me out with donations. That allows me to have more time to try and find a better fitting job. And once my small cash reserves get down to a certain point, I am going to have absolutely no option than to basically just go into whatever job I can get, and I don't know. But that is incredibly, incredibly depressing because of the amount of time that I put into this. And you take a step back. The problem is when you're in it, it feels very like it's a bigger deal than it actually is. And then when you take a step back, you're like, it's only 60,000 subs. Only about 5,000 people watch each video. It earns me less than £200 a month. A lot less. In fact, no, it's dollars. It was less than £150 a month. It costs you more than that in just fuel for going places. Why are you doing this? But every time I think about quitting, I'm like, but I love doing this. I feel like if I leave this, I'm just giving up on everything, every bit of career progression I had in this bike industry towards wherever I was going. Sorry, it's a bit of a depressing subject. I'm trying not to talk about it. I'm trying to keep positive with stuff. But yeah, I could go on and whatever. This is not what this is about. Jack RR, money no object, the 5 bikes you would want in your garage. DRZ 400 and DIVI, because I love them both even though they're not great. But so the 3 others would be an R9T, a Norton Dummy Racer, I don't even know if I'll fit on it, but I love the look of it, and that 75 grand Ducati, which, because I just turn the engine on and just listen to it because Jesus Christ. Rides, why did you start riding motorcycles? I started because it was cheaper form of transport for work. Then I fell in love with them. Pretty much the same thing, dude. Well, yes and no. I've been riding bikes on fields and things since I was about 12, and it got to when I was 22, and I thought about getting a bike over the years, but never really had the money, and then I was working in a job, and they basically extended the hours of the business, which meant I couldn't use public transport, so I got 125, and I knew that I loved bikes from before, and just as soon as I got on the first bike to do my CVT, I was just like, hang on a minute, why have I not been doing this? And since then it's just progressed, and it's now one of the most important things in my life. Bill sorry, I'm dyslexic, that name is confusing. Bill, you know who you are. Serious question time. If Donald Trump was a motorcycle, what kind of old, struggling, suspiciously orange motorcycle would he be? He would be my old mate Furious's old Bandit, which was very, very orange. That is an in-joke for about a couple of thousand people if they're still around, and ginger. The Hermes 51, are 125cc bikes too weak for road trips? No, as long as you accept that you're going to only be doing about 40 to 50 miles an hour. If you know, it's exactly the same as getting a big bike and holding it out at its top end. If I got my XJ6 and sat at top end, which is about 130 odd, I think, and you did that all day long, you'd know that that wouldn't be good for the bike, really. In the same way that a 125 needing to be at 70 miles an hour, it means it is far end. So if you accept that you're going to do 40 to 50 miles an hour, that's perfectly fine if you take some B roads. A 125 is brilliant for these sorts of things because it's so cheap on fuel, and it's easy to put places in them. So yes, you can, but just don't expect to be going more than about 50. Marky B, yeah, when it's dark and you turn the lights on, where does the dark go? The dark isn't a thing, the dark is a lack of a thing. So it doesn't go anywhere. It isn't a thing. You know, you have light particles, you don't have dark particles, it doesn't work like that. Baron, what do you think about going from 125cc to 1000cc, or should I work my way up? Well, assuming that you must be about, what, 24? Yes, you have to be 24 at least, so you've been running 125 for a while. I would say you have a better chance of being able to do that than someone who's a lot younger. However, I really don't advise it. The 1000cc bike is not even usable on today's roads anyway. You'll learn more on a smaller bike. I'd say just get a 600 or a 750. You're old enough to know not to be an idiot, hopefully. So don't do this everywhere, and you should work out okay. Just ask yourself a couple of questions. Why do I want to go from 125 to 1000cc? Is it just because I want a faster bike? If it is, when you get on the 600 you have to use to do your licence, you'll shit your pants. And that thing's only got 60 brake horsepower. So, yeah, I don't advise it, but, each to their own. Blind Rider 609, in your darkest hour, what got you through it? And what advice would you give to anyone dealing with depression or suicidal thoughts? It's funny, it's a depression, there is like a thing about depression this week, about sort of, highlighting it. I have made videos talking about this. Through the darkest hour bit, I won't give up. I don't want to get really dark in this video, but people know I have dealt with depression for like 20 years, and I have had plenty of those sorts of thoughts, and at the moment I'm definitely fighting from getting depressed again, because everything was going very well and then it got completely fucking destroyed by a person for no apparent reason. I am currently struggling basically to keep above the level and remain happy, and you may have noticed I'm making less videos and stuff, and that's because I'm feeling a little bit less outward going at the moment. However, basically it's determination that I will make something happen. Even though I've been knocked back many, many times, whatever it is that I want, there's simple rules here. Basically, if you're wanting for something that you can't have at the moment, then you can be okay with that because it's not available to you. If you're wanting for something that you can have at the moment, if you put the effort in, then put the effort in. If it comes down to you want something and you're putting the effort in and you never get the thing you're trying to get, and then every time you think you're getting it, it falls apart, my life, you just have to be strong and just learn to be like, okay, another setback, move forwards. I have times that I'm sat here and I can literally feel the negative thoughts like invading their way into my brain, and I literally have to push them away. I have to visualise it, and I have to be like, no, we're not going to think like that. We're not going to think everything is negative, because if we do, we're not going to have a positive outlook, and we're not going to do as well as if we were being positive. So I have to stay positive all the time. Unfortunately, there's a point where some days I just collapse. Not physically, I can't keep the positiveness up, and those days I just go very quiet and I keep to myself. I might go out for a ride, or I might go and do something like fossil hunting, to literally get myself away from everything and force myself into doing something. If you're doing something, you tend to be more occupied, and if you accomplish something, you feel a lot happier. If I'm having a really bad night, okay, and I'm being really overthinking about stuff and get really depressed about stuff, and I'm starting to feel really sort of just that dreadful anxiety feeling, I'll tidy cupboards that I haven't been in for years. Doing anything that then has this was like this, I did this, and this is better, will help you no end. I have considered doing an entire video talking about something like this, but I basically chose not to because I didn't want to put a negative video out, and people, whenever I talk about depression and stuff, they think I'm attention seeking or something like that, and it's like, no, I am actually here to try and help people, because I'm one of those people who's lucky enough to have found a coping strategy without using antidepressants and drugs and stuff. This video is definitely not 15 minutes long. William Rayner, if you had the money and space, would you get another bike? No, I don't, would I? If I had the space and money, yes, of course, I'd have lots and lots of bikes. The problem I've found with having two bikes is you find yourself riding one a lot more than the other. The reason why that is for me, though, is because the reason I bought DIVI was because Derek, he was getting killed every few thousand miles by the way that I was riding him. He wasn't made to go long distances, and that's what I was doing. I did a lot of miles. So if I was going to get a third bike, what would it be? It would be a naked, probably, I think. Something like a KTM 690 would be nice, or completely different and go for like an R9T. But each bike has to have its own things. Divi's great at going faster and going long distance and being comfortable and all of those things. Derek is great at going through country roads and having a laugh and messing around. That's why you see Divi more than Derek these days. And I know people are like, oh, you don't love Derek anymore. It's like, no, the reason that I don't ride him as much is because I know that the way that I was riding him was destroying it, which is shit. Lawn Tractor Boy, what is your favourite 4x4? These are some random ass questions. The Land Rover Defender. I'd like a Defender. People are now going to go, no, you don't want that one. I don't know. I just always like Defenders. Antisocial Motorist, what direction do you think your channel should go and how do you think you'll get there? Direction... I don't know what direction. My channel doesn't have a direction. It's pretty obvious at that point. It's just a bit of fun. So if life takes over and work and everything, the requirements of life mean that I can't do this anymore. I won't be able to do it anymore, and I will be very, 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 very upset and very, very pissed off. But I do wish to continue trying to do it as best I can. Again, it's that shitty situation of feeling like most people right now in my position would just go and quit. But I don't just do it for the money, I do it because I love doing it. But unfortunately the money side of it really helps. I am trying to get some sponsorship stuff and I am talking with some people, but not too much is coming this way yet. I have a smaller channel, the videos don't get as many views. It's not what sells my channel to people. And as I say, a perfect example of that is the fact that this video has more comments than likes, and it's channel support that grows channels. People in America with these huge channels, they didn't get there by doing anything themselves. It was by the people who watch the videos supporting them. If the people who watch the videos don't actively try and support them, it's never going to go anywhere. And there's nothing I can do about that. The only people who can change that is you guys. And I've asked and I've made it clear that this is the situation, and I leave it down to you. What happens with this channel is in your guys' hands, not mine. Apart from if it ends, basically. Sam Hinchney, what is your favourite colour of radiator? Oh, now, I had a white radiator, and when I was younger I decided to paint it with silver paint. And it looked really nice until it got to winter, and then we realised it was acrylic paint and it started slowly sliding down. Yeah, I was young, I didn't know. UKGB, what are your opinions on the UK licensing laws and the age restrictions that come with them? My last Q&A was about new riders and those sorts of questions. Go and watch that. But basically I believe that the rules are there for good reasons. They need to be modified slightly, but there are things that were brought in which people are pissed off about that I actually agree with, like trying to keep 19-year-olds off of 1000cc bikes. Just not a good idea. Reckless B. Richard, if money was no object... Maybe we keep talking about money! Shut up! Money was no object. Yeah, money is no. If money was no object, would you turn Derek into a bike like Divi so you could go crazy adventures with him? Also, you're a legend, Spicy. A foot, really? Sorry, every time I read legend, I've always read leg end, so I read foot. Anyway, or hip, I suppose. Would I turn Derek into a bike like Divi? You can't turn Derek into Divi. It's a different type of engine, it's a different type of frame, it's a different type of everything. If you wanted to find a bike halfway between Divi and Derek and its abilities, get the 701. Would I buy a 701? No. I'm be honest with you, I've ridden one and I don't really like the feel of them. Jake said to me, because he's obviously done a lot of riding one recently, he said, don't worry, you'll get over that, I know what you mean. Charlie Tibbles, does pineapple belong on a pizza? Oh, if it's like a Hawaiian, I don't mind it, but it has little pieces and spread out quite sparsely. When you get ones that are like ham and pineapple, and it's literally just like ham, pineapple, too much. I'm not a massive fan of cooked pineapple as it is. The little tiny bit is okay. Cowtipper84, hello dude, hope you're alright. Question for the Q&A. Do you agree with James May, his statement that bike thieves should be killed? Follow up, if you could kill a bike thief without legal recourse, how would you go about doing it? Hashtag spicy dark side. Do I believe they should be killed? Well, theft of a motorcycle seems worse to a motorcyclist, so I'm going to be open and objective about this. Would you believe that someone that stole a car should be killed? No, I think moments of indiscretion can be forgiven. However, people who are habitual thieves, I'm not a believer in the death penalty generally because it's very hard to prove that someone actually did something. there's been too many innocent people killed and too many innocent people let out of prison decades later. But they're not going to get that for bike theft anyway. That's more the point. I'd like the rules to be raised. So basically, you get caught stealing a bike, you get done for stealing a bike. If you get caught doing it twice, you get put in prison for like 5 years. Just the American system of 3 strikes, I do kind of like. Because in my 31 years of life, I have what would be the equivalent of no strikes. So, but then again, you get people that get put in prison for 25 years for stealing like $1 worth of cookies, who are homeless. So yeah, I don't know. How would I kill them if I chose to? I don't want to make anyone suffer. I'd have to make it quick and painless. So, anti-aircraft gun to the head. Ice cool, 2 strokes or 4 strokes. Both brilliant, 2 strokes off-road, 4 strokes on-road. Let the hate ensue. Reno asks, if you were left in a garage with some scraps, a basic toolkit and a hairdryer, how long, well, thank fuck for the hairdryer, how long would it take you to build a motorcycle? How long before you take it greenlaning? Scraps, as long as I had bike scraps, I could make a bike. So if I was stuck in there and I knew I was in there for a while, then I'd have to find something to do. And how long before I get greenlaning? As soon as I escape. Bimble, why is one of my feet much bigger than the other one? I am the same dude. One of my feet is one size is different. But they're kind of half sizes, so it's really difficult to find boots and stuff. Oh wait, no, it's fine. They're both the same size. I'm just wearing a monocle. Is all my bad. Should have... Keep reading to the end. George Southhard, why did you even think about creating a YouTube video content and invest all your time and effort into your channel? Oh! What? I don't think you meant that as negatively as it sounds. Why did I think about it? Because I wanted to start doing some video editing and it was fun at the time and it was a growing thing. And for the first 3 or 4 years, no, 3 years I was on YouTube, it was exploding and people were it was just great, it was brilliant. And then Google bought it, and then it seemed to be okay, but things kind of got a little bit fucked up, and then Google got really involved and now they really fucked it right up. Because what's happening now is people are just going, okay, well, screw the ad revenue, I'm just going to go to a company and get sponsorship deals. Then that way, people upload their videos onto YouTube, they won't monetize them, and they get sponsorship from elsewhere. So YouTube has to continue giving the service and doesn't make any money. Isn't that a little bit silly, YouTube? Jonathan Giles? Maverick or Iceman? Iceman. Maverick is a dick. He's a proper dick. He's a real, actual dick. Let's just remove that name. Tom Cruise is a dick. Okay, just listen to him, he's a dick. You know, when someone's dying, you need a Scientologist there to sort it out because, you know, they're the ones who know, they're trained, they're the ones who can do things, they're the ones who are gonna make a difference. Moto Chooch TV, hello dude, how are you? What program do you use to edit your videos? I use Sony Movie Studio Platinum 13 and 14. I have 14, but it's a piece of shit. So 13 is the one that I use. I used 12 before that, and to be fair, everything I do now I can do on 12. It's just 13s can do higher rates and stuff. I'm going to keep going to the memory card dies. So when I go, thank you very much for watching. Oh shit, we need to pick someone. We need to pick a winner for this, don't we? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spin up with my scroll wheel up through the comments and just pick someone. Gummy Bear! How about that? Q&A, your thoughts on the Impossible Burger? Oh, vegan patty that is meant to be meat. I've seen this and I don't believe it, basically. I mean, yeah, you can make... my sister's vegetarian, she has been for years. She's not vegan, but I've tasted vegetarian stuff and I'm like, you know, Quorn mince, for instance, is actually... it's difficult to tell between Quorn mince and real beef. But there is a definite distinction. So I think you can make it taste very much like meat, but I still think you'll be able to tell. Gummy Bear, I will PM you and you can send me your address and I'll send that to you. And I've just seen Red Renner's left a question, so and I've got 3 minutes left, so let's answer Red Renner's. Will you squidge my seat at the Big Fat Sausage Fest if I bring my KTM? Yes. Yes, I will squidge that seat. As long as it's as squidgeable as Katie's was. And that is a good point to remind people that the Big Fat Sausage Fest, which is a motovlogger and subscriber meetup, which me, Phil Tonic and Red Renner hold at Lumi's Motor Cafe. It's happening on the 17th of June, this June coming up, 2017. Starts about 12 PM, all bikes welcome. There is a video about it. You find it. Just search Big Fat Sausage Fest Spicy110. I've got 1 minute, so Scott Sharp, this is your chance to get your question answered. Have just passed my A2, as I know you have ridden both. Would you recommend the XJ6 or the SV650? Fuck button liked. They're a bit different to say. If I had the choice between the SV and DIVI, before I probably would have said the SV, now I'll say DIVI. However, I do like the SV. But DIVI does seem to have more power than the SV650 does, once it gets up into the revs. And that's time out, people. We're running out of memory. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to don't forget to smash the like out of the fuck button. That was it. And also merch and key tags and all that stuff, and even the PayPal link, which it's there. Any support is always welcome, because right now times are hard. I'm going.